What if I told you every country on Earth is broke, and somehow that's the plan? The US owes $38 trillion, the European Union, $14 trillion, Japan, $9 trillion, even Saudi Arabia, swimming in oil, and China, the world's factory, both buried in debt. Here's the question nobody asks. If everyone owes money, who's the creditor? To understand how the world drowned in over $315 trillion of debt, 3 times the size of the global economy, we need to rewind the clock. Not to Wall Street, but to war-torn England, 1694. England was broke, fighting France, and out of gold. Desperate, the king made a deal with the merchants. Lend me money now, and I will pay you back later, with interest guaranteed by taxes. That one promise gave birth to something revolutionary, the Bank of England, and with it, the first government bonds. From that moment on, countries discovered their new superpower spending money they didn't yet possess. France copied this. The Netherlands perfected it. The United States built its empire on it. Debt stopped being something shameful. It became a measure of power. Empires no longer conquered land for gold. They conquered markets for credit. The battlefield had moved from fields of war to balance sheets. Fast forward 3 centuries. Debt isn't just a tool, it's the world's biggest export. Every country borrows, every bank lends, every citizen, through taxes and pensions, is both debtor and creditor. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Whose hand is on the other end of the rope? Take the United States. Of that $38 trillion, approximately half is public debt, owed to investors. 2/3 of them are American institutions, banks, pension funds, mutual funds, and the Federal Reserve. The remaining 1/3, about $9 trillion, is owned by foreign nations like Japan, China, the UK, Luxembourg, Belgium. So yes, America owes China, but only about 2% of its total debt. In actuality, America owes itself. The Treasury issues bonds. Banks purchase them. The Fed prints money to buy them back. Taxes pay the interest, which flows into retirement funds. It's not a debt spiral, it's a circular mirror, and that mirror reflects everywhere. Japan lends to the US. The US lends to Europe. Europe lends to developing nations. Developing nations lend back by purchasing Western bonds. It's a financial game of hot potato, except the potato's made of promises. Every IOU backed by another IOU. And the rule keeping the game alive? Don't stop passing it. Behind every government bond is a shadow network. Hedge funds, pension giants, sovereign wealth funds, and central banks in control of tens of trillions. They decide who can borrow cheaply and who will collapse trying. When they lose faith, currencies crash, governments fall, and economies crumble overnight. Democracy is the rule of the people, but markets determine who survives. And right in the middle of this all, the central banks. They don't just manage debt, they manufacture it. Every time they buy bonds, they introduce new money into circulation. Every dollar in your wallet is debt from someone else's balance sheet. There is no debt-free money. Every coin, every note, every digital dollar is an IOU. When confidence breaks, we see the real cost. Greece, 2010, debt spiral, austerity, mass unemployment. Argentina, default after default, generations trapped. Sri Lanka, fuel shortages, political collapse. The names change, the pattern doesn't. Old debt is refinanced, old promises repackaged. The system reboots, for it was never intended to terminate. Governments today don't plan to repay their debt, ever. They just refinance it, forever. It's not failure, it's policy. Debt isn't meant to be cleared, it's meant to be rolled over. Interest is the real product, the rent we all pay for stability. And global capitalism cannot do without it, because if all governments were ever to pay off all their debt, the system would collapse overnight. The world runs on debt because debt is the world's money. So when politicians promise to balance the budget, they're lying, not maliciously, but mathematically. The goal isn't to pay it off, it's to keep the illusion alive. Confidence fades, and then the numbers stop mattering. Debt once meant bondage. Today it means balance. But if that balance ever tips, we'll remember what debt really is, a promise that can't be kept forever. If this made you rethink everything you thought you knew about money, hit subscribe. History doesn't repeat, but finance does, and the answers are always hiding in plain sight.